Citizens of Ekhuruleni and Gauteng, greetings to the leadership of the economic freedom fighters. My name is Nkululeko Dunga. I am the provincial chairperson of the EFF in Gauteng and also the MMC of Finance in the city of Ekhuruleni. I'll now just briefly introduce to you the leadership that is in front here with me. On my left, we've got the Gauteng Provincial Secretary, Komisa Mushakoma, who is also a member of the provincial legislature. On my right, we have Fighter Lishaka Manamela, who is the Regional Command Team Chairperson, and also the MMC of Water, Sanitation and Energy. And next to Fighter Lishaka Manamela is Fighter Letabo Rachidi, who is the Deputy Chairperson of the EFF in the region. And on his right, which is my far right, is the Treasurer of the EFF in the region, Fighter Jeremiah Maraba. On next to the Provincial Secretary, on my left, it would be the Regional Secretary, Fighter Mandla Muloko. And on the far left, right next to him, it will be Fighter Dineo Matsi, who is the Deputy Secretary of the region. We also have before us the Speaker of Council, Fighter Ntabiseng Chivenga, who is also a member of the Regional Command Team. We have Fighter Bridget Tusi, who is the MMC of Health and Social Development and also a member of the Regional Command Team. We have Fighter Eunice Matlocha, who is the member of the Mayoral Committee and serves in Waste and Environmental Services. Then we also have Fighter Khopelo Holo, who is the MMC of Infrastructure Services, and the caucus of the EFF that is before us, led by the whip of the EFF Caucus, Kenneth Mashianoke. The Economic Freedom Fighters, members of the Mayoral Committee in the city of Ekhuruleni, were appointed by the Mayor, Councillors Vuyile Ngodwana, and sworn in on the 6th of April 2023 under what is themed the People's Government. We have conducted a thorough assessment of the current state of affairs in the city of Ekhuruleni, guided by the Mayor's address delivered on the 25th of April 2023. Working with other colleagues in the People's Government, we have identified pressing issues within the city of Ekhuruleni that requires our urgent attention. We have noted with concern the issue of non-payment of service providers on time. Currently, the city has just over 200 million rands in unpaid invoices. This has a serious implication on the ability of the city to deliver proper services. This has the economic impact of such payment delays goes beyond the supplier's ability to render services, but has a direct impact on the entire value chain, which includes employees of these service providers and manufacturers that provide raw materials to all of our suppliers. During such tough economic conditions, it is imperative for us as government to ensure that we do not contribute to the already struggling economy by withholding payments to suppliers. Even more concerning is the fact that some of these service providers are forced to turn to the courts to obtain court orders, and now the municipality's assets are being attached. We are going to call an imbizo that will provide a platform for all service providers to understand the cause of delays and the basis of the non-payment. We are also aware that some of these non-payments of service providers is because they are officials who are allegedly soliciting bribes to effect payments. The imbizo will be attended by municipal officials who are responsible for the payment process of service providers and will give immediate attention to those service providers who have not been paid in more than 30 days as per the Treasury guidelines. The city is under serious pressure to rapidly expand service delivery and increase the infrastructure. However, despite consecutive clean audits, the city's conditional grant allocation made by the National Treasury remains relatively low in comparison to other metropolitan cities. This is made worse sometimes by delays in appointments of contractors and service providers, and sometimes poor spending on the allocation of budgets. But also the manner in which the National Treasury releases funds towards the end of the financial year puts the city in a difficult position, particularly when there are no reserves to continue spending before the money reaches the coffers of the city. We must enhance our supply chain management policies and the processes to ensure that service delivery is not affected. The EFF correctly called for the previous HOD of Waste Management Services, Faith Watsela, to be removed from office due to non-performance, and in that she collapsed the department in itself. We have learned to know that the city has an asset register of about 103 waste compactors. However, at this point, we can only confirm 32 from the department, with the reluctance to do a physical audit of these trucks. We are even more concerned about the remaining waste compactors that cannot be located. The current acting HOD, Phakamile Mbengash, must know that he cannot frustrate the EFF in its duties and functions of ensuring that the department functions optimally. The failure of the acting HOD, Phakamile Mbengash, to take instruction particularly on the matter of the physical auditing of trucks as per the directive of the political head MMC Eunice Matloga cannot be taken lying down. Many a times we experience non-delivery of services due to officials not wanting to take political instructions that is well within their rights and the legalities thereof. These waste compactors are crucial to the ability of the city to collect waste consistently and keep the city clean. It is concerning that the council approved a further purchase of an additional 12 waste compactors when there are already missing waste compactors that cannot be accounted for. We are afraid that even these 12 that we have decided to buy as council will ultimately disappear like all the others. The city spends more than 363 million on contractors for waste removal, just on 46 waste compactors, and the city requires about 78 waste pickers to optimally collect waste in the CBD. At the moment, waste collection in the city CBD and suburban areas is through municipal waste compactors, whereas predominantly black areas depend largely on the 46 waste compactors that are appointed as contractors by the city. This means that if we find the remaining waste compactors which are missing and we firmly believe have been stolen, we fix and even maintain those we can find, the city will have the capacity to collect waste in the CBD, in suburban areas, and save the city 363 million in the process. That can be used to expand waste service to all our people, including the newly formalized areas. The fact that there is no proper management of the municipal fleet responsible for waste collection is a serious challenge and will have to be addressed, including management of personnel and accountability of each and every waste compactor at all times. Currently, this city has a serious challenge of waste and illegal dump sites, and without these waste compactors, the city will either fail to collect waste regularly to meet the city clean. This is one of the main reasons why the department is responsible for waste has failed in quarter 3 performance to take the city CBD to level 2 of cleanliness, since the CBD has the largest collection rate compared to any other service offered by the city. We're in the process of locating the remaining waste compactors. If they are not found by Wednesday, May the 3rd, 2023, the MMC, who is responsible for environment and waste, must go and open a case of stolen vehicles. The MMCs have noted further that the revenue collected from outdoor advertising of just over 17 million is far lower than the current number of outdoor advertising facilities that are within the city's borders. There are currently 96 outdoor advertisement boards that pay to the municipality, while there are more than 300 boards that exist illegally. we have resolved to conduct a thorough audit to determine who is receiving the revenue on behalf of the city that is due to the municipality, while at the same time we would like to call on all these companies that have placed their outdoor advertisement boards within the city of Ekhuruleni to approach the office of the MMC of Infrastructure and declare their assets before we get to them. Furthermore, the electricity is a major source of municipal revenue, and load shedding has been the biggest contributor to the city's revenue losses. We have noted with concern that there are some big companies that are not paying for electricity or at times are underpaying. In fact, we are aware that some of the major electricity consumers in the city have tampered with water meters because we see a loss of electricity in substations that is unaccounted for in any way. We call on all companies to ensure that their electricity accounts are up to date and in terms of their payments. Effective from the 1st of June 2023, the municipality will switch off electricity for companies who are either not paying or underpaying their own accounts. Equally important, the use of estimates for billing of electricity use remains a challenge and has resulted in technical losses of revenue. This is particularly the case in the winter season because when electricity consumption goes up in winter, old estimates lead to these losses. We'll appoint field workers to go on an aggressive campaign to collect proper readings to ensure that the billing going forward is up to date. The municipality currently provides 47,000 mobile toilets for informal settlements. We will conduct an audit to ensure that the 47,000 mobile toilets are physically present and are on site, and that they meet the specifications as per the contract that was advertised. In the long term, the MMCs will explore and implement more humane ovulation facilities and will invite service providers with better interventions to prevent solutions to eradicate the use of mobile toilets and put more sustainable solutions that are in place for our communities. Many of the informal settlements in areas that are closer to sewage infrastructure, and there are 12 informal settlements where we can remove immediately mobile toilets and connect these informal settlements to the main sewer infrastructure with medium and long-term solutions that will restore the dignity of our people. Non-governmental organizations and non-profit organizations who have been given permission to operate in municipal-owned properties must ensure that they use municipal properties responsible and for the intended purposes that they had asked for. An audit will be conducted of all institutions that have been given properties by the municipality to ensure that they are used for their intended purpose. As part of this work, the city must also conduct an audit of the 200 municipal-owned houses that are part of the 53,000 municipal properties in the asset register of the city. These properties were previously allocated to municipal firefighters. However, today, many of these houses in prime locations are not used for their intended purposes. In some cases, the properties that are somewhere in Springs, in Heidelberg, and in the highest accolades of suburban areas such as Bedfordview are rented out, but the rental income does not come to the city of Ekhuruleni, but goes to unknown individuals. It is concerning that the Department of Real Estate has failed to spend the over 60 million when the city has dilapidated housing, and some of these houses will need to be refurbished to ensure that they are used for their intended purposes and possibly generate additional rental for the city. The city of Ekhuruleni will launch a sporting tournament that will culminate in the finals on the June 16, 2023 on Youth Day. This initiative aims to promote health competition, foster unity within the community, and keep the youth away from crime and drug abuse. This particular program will be headed by the MMC of Health and Social Development, Fighter Bridget Tusi. Ekhuruleni has a huge industrial potential that must be supported by a skills and knowledge base. It is on this basis that MMCs, together with the Speaker of Council, must begin negotiations with institutions of higher learning to bring satellite campuses to Ekhuruleni. These satellite campuses will provide greater access to education and to promote the re-industrialization of the city of Ekhuruleni. The MMCs emphasize the importance of a clean, drinkable, reliable water supply for all, particularly in the recently formalized informal settlements. The MMCs with the caucus must also address the issue of infrastructure built using asbestos material. An audit will be conducted to identify the extent of the problem and propose solutions, with priority given to fixing all leakages and completing water reservoirs that are currently under construction. The MMCs are committed to providing a clean, transparent government for the citizens of Ekhuruleni, and we will work tirelessly to address these pressing issues. We believe that by addressing these key areas, we can significantly improve the quality of life for the residents and ensure a prosperous future for the city of Ekhuruleni. The cardinal pillar number 7 in the EFF's founding manifesto calls for an open, accountable, corrupt-free government and a society without fear of victimization by state agencies. Guided by this principle, the EFF in government in the city of Ekhuruleni will not tiptoe around corrupt officials and will never associate with and will not protect corruption and corrupt officials and people. We are committed to provision of a clean and corrupt-free government which is trusted by the people of Ekhuruleni. We call on all employees of the municipality, service providers, and all other people to report all forms of corruptions wherever such exist and happens. We will ruthlessly deal with corruption because a responsible and responsive government must rid itself of corruption at all times. Thank you very much. We'll now call on the media that is there to ask for any questions, if there are any.
Uzintle from News 24. I just want to know, why is this only an EFF briefing, for instance, and why are the rest of the people in government not with you guys, the ANC, the other MMCs that are part of the government? Shouldn't this be a conjoined effort to end the corruption? Some of this corruption will probably come from way back when the ANC was still in charge of the administration. Are you not concerned about these people that you claim are being corrupt not being linked to the party itself, the very same party you share governing Ekhuruleni with? Thank you.
Hi, Liolom Kendane from Business Day. I'm just interested on the trucks issue. So you say that 103 trucks, removal trucks were bought, and only 32 have been, can be accounted for. I just want to find out as to how much was used to, procure these trucks, and during which financial year. And I want to find out regarding this 363 million that you say is being spent on waste removal contractors. Is that figure a monthly fee that is being paid, or yeah? If you could just clarify those issues for me, I'm just a bit confused.
Okay, sorry. Can I add? I just want to know, what time frame are you giving yourselves as a party to deal with these corrupt officials within the?
Can you repeat the question, please?
What? The time frame of solving these issues. By when would you want to deal with these officials that are corrupt?
Yeah, on the first question, in terms of why only the EFF, the invitation was direct and very clear that it was the EFF Caucus with the members of the mayoral committee of the EFF who have convened this particular sitting. Had it been the entire collective, it would have been something that is led by the mayor of the city of Ekhuruleni. But it would obviously take up many of these issues that we currently have to even the collective that we serve with in the executive and in the officials of the city, which is the political management team that to a certain extent is also led by the speaker in terms of ironing out these things that we have uncovered in the immediate. So that is why we felt it was important that we register the voice of the EFF, so that the society can be in thorough understanding what the position of the EFF is in regards to some of these things that we have found in the immediate upon us assuming office. In terms of about being concerned about those that we currently serve with and potentially being in charge, we're not friends with anyone. And at any given point in time, and we can identify those that we currently work with having been implicated in any wrongdoing, particularly when it comes to corruption and unauthorized, irregular, fruitless or wasteful expenditure. We'll expose that as the EFF, and equally will call on those people to remove themselves away from the collective that currently exists, because we have made a commitment, in as much as that the EFF is part of this people's governance. It can never be that will form part of any corrupt relationship at a personal level or on a collective level. So, and that's what we subscribe to as the economic freedom fighters. And this not only just goes out to the ANC, by the way, because you are neglecting those who were assuming office just a month ago, which is the DA in itself. If the EFF at this certain point in time could have identified some of these things that we could identify within 30 days, and there was a silent period of the democratic-led coalition government for the past 1.5 years, it means that they are also part of the system of corruption that we could have identified at this point, and they must be called out on those bases as well. So it not only goes out for the administration that vacated office in 2021, but it also goes out to the white administration that we correctly removed just a month ago under Tanya Campbell. In terms of the trucks, yes, there are 32, but our problem, and the biggest problem that we are currently having, is the reluctancy of the current acting HOD, Pagamile Mbengashe, who blatantly refuses us to do a thorough inspection of even the 32 that is alleged to be existing. So we've got our own thought in terms of what is happening here. And potentially, it could just be that even these 46 compactors that are contracted services currently by the city are actually not owning those trucks. We could easily find that the trucks of the city in themselves are being used by contracted services, and then we are being charged for all of these monies that is being billed on a monthly basis on these on these trucks. Because why would a acting HOD just willingly defy a political directive to actually audit, a simple audit of these trucks? We woke up the other day, 3 o'clock in the morning, we were here wanting to do an audit because we did not want to disrupt the service delivery orientation of these compactors who have to leave their depots at 5 o'clock. But when we're here, we get told that no, there's no truck that is going to come here. It will take about a month for us to do an audit of 32 trucks. Now, at the very same time as well, we are also aware that there are truck drivers who do not want to use the system that they called the DIS, the Departmental Information System of some sort. Only about 5 or 6 truck drivers are using that particular system. That means that we're not in charge of even the trucks that are currently under us. There is no department that can tell you or be able to track those trucks at this point in time. Only 5 of them can track. Who are they working and where are they working if we cannot even track a simple thing like the 32 trucks that currently exist and know from where we are sitting remotely, where are they working, which areas have they covered? We can't do that at this point in time. That can only tell you that they are working for services outside of the duties and functions given unto them by the municipality in itself. We are more obsessed now with the 103 trucks that are on the asset register of the city. And all of them, we can say that they are unaccounted for, because even that 32 that we wanted to do a follow-up on, we can't do it. The acting HOD is busy playing Mickey Mouse with the MMC when we want to do that particular audit of those trucks. The 363 million rand is a contracted services budget that is allocated for the refuse removal in itself on a yearly basis. So that means that the 46 current compactors are the ones that share the 363 million rand on a year basis. Now, our problem even goes beyond that, is to say that the city in itself is the one that offers the personnel and the human resource for those 46 trucks. We are the ones that pay. So we want to find those trucks, and that can have a great saving of 363 million rand as the city of Ekhuruleni, because if we locate the trucks that currently we can't find, that means there's no need for the current contracted service of refuse removal, because we already have personnel that is employed by the city, that is under the city, that is being paid for by the city. We just eliminate the 363 million that is contracted for these particular trucks, and we move in that direction. Just now, we got a delivery of 2 additional trucks. We can't even verify those 2 new trucks that have been bought just recently. Council took a decision to buy 12 trucks earlier on in the year. How is it that even just these 2 that's just been delivered this month, they can't be located or they can't be brought to us so that at least we verify them? Because these are brand new trucks. We're expecting 2 additional trucks by end of this month, and by end of this month as well. And it's clear that we are not going to know where those trucks are. There is no appetite from the officials to actually come forth and play a open governance stance like the economic freedom fighters and say these are the trucks that have just been recently bought. This caucus and this council sitting, when the Auditor General closed its books, we had to write off in council, in accordance to Section 36 of the MFMA, an amount that was almost 15 million rand. This 15 million rand was on the basis of unauthorized expenditure in relation to waste compactors. But now, those very same trucks that we had to spend an additional 15 million rand, that was unbudgeted for by the city, because the department decided to buy trucks that were not in compliance to the requirements of the department. Even those trucks cannot be found. Those are additional expenses that the city is incurring, particularly in this Department of Waste and Environmental Services. And we cannot just keep quiet as the caucus. We cannot keep quiet as the EFF when we are exposed to such things. Now, in terms of the time frame, ours is to identify and deal decisively with corruption, immediately so. That is why we are going to open a case in terms of what we perceive as a dire theft of the assets of the city if we cannot locate them by tomorrow, by today, which we have made that commitment. We spoke to the department over the weekend. We said we are available, we want to do the audit. They were not there. On Monday, it was the same case. Yesterday, we woke up, it was the same case. We even made a proposal to say that perhaps because the rounds of these waste collectors and compactors ends at 3:30, let us then do a verification after 3 o'clock yesterday. They still refused. This is a whole acting HOD who thinks that he commands this department. He has no dire understanding of the department because he's someone who comes from communication. And we all know that the Department of Communication in the city of Ekhuruleni has collapsed. So those are not things that we are going to allow as the EFF in the city of Ekhuruleni and in Gauteng. Thank you. I think we have reached the end of our briefing. Would like to thank the media for coming. Would like to appreciate the leadership who have also decided to be here with us today as based on the directive that was given on to us. Thank you very much. Well done. Oops.
umshalezimi